Hello, it's a warm welcome here in our main studios on Gttv, and this is 9 p.m. news with me, Aisha Tukolu. We begin with the main headlines. Now, the $2.5 million Toyota Prado vehicles have been handed over to National Assembly members of the Gambia. The Kanifing Municipal Council has launched Kanifing Environmental Transformation Program together with a call center to allow residents to lodge complaints on waste collection and anti-regulatory matters. The outgoing IMF country rep has bidden farewell to His Excellency President Adama Barrow at the State House in Banjul. In internationals, the Chinese President Xi Jinping arrives in South Africa for another visit to Africa after 5 years. The Wenger chief, Prigozhin, has appeared in his first video address since his failed mutiny in Russia, which suggests he is in Africa. These and many other stories coming ahead. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Gttv News with me, Aisha Tukolu. Now, the National Assembly members on Friday, 18th of August, 2023, received the contagious Toyota Prado vehicles, which cost $2.5 million each, held in Banjul. The lawmakers have since faced backlash for buying themselves such luxurious vehicles amid rising cost of living, including high price. I was at the handing over ceremony and filed in this report. The National Assembly on Friday, 18th of August, 2023, handed over the controversial Toyota Prado vehicles to the National Assembly members held in Banjul. The vehicles, which cost each $2.5 million, has since triggered debate among Gambians. Presiding over the handing over ceremony, Fabakary Tombong Jatta, Speaker of the National Assembly, told MPs that the vehicles are not procured for luxury purposes, but bought to ease their transportation difficulties.
This reality greatly affected honorable members in the execution of their duties and responsibilities. And it is this challenge that the mobility scheme seeks to address so that honorable National Assembly members can honor the social contract with the Gambian people as prescribed by law.
Commenting on the public concern, Speaker Jatta assured Gambians that the Parliament has followed due process in procuring the vehicles.
Fully aware of the concerns raised by the public regarding the provision of mobility scheme for members of the National Assembly. However, whilst I appreciate these concerns, as it shows the interest our people are taking in governance of the state, I wish to assure every Gambian that the due process was followed throughout the process and the best value for money has been achieved. The vehicles are partly funded by members themselves, and its maintenance, fuel, and running costs is entirely on the honorable members. There is no argument as to what value a mobility scheme can add to the work of people who serve as the link between its citizens and the government. The people who are charged with the mandate of holding government accountable to the people and amplifying the wishes and aspirations of the citizens for redress by the duty bearers, and above all, make good quality legislation that promotes the collective well-being of all people.
He thanked the lawmakers for their patriotism and restraint during the difficult times before the delivery of the vehicles. Also speaking, Momodou Cisse, clerk of the National Assembly, had this to say.
Honorable members, today represent a great accomplishment and vindication of strategic thinking, careful planning, and diligent execution of our responsibility as National Assembly service. It is indeed gratifying to know that this is the first time in the annals of the history of this institution that honorable members are accorded official mobility to expand their outreach and enhance one of their core mandate, that is representation.
In his vote of thanks, CDS Kenjai, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, commended President Adama Barrow for creating an enabling environment for members of the National Assembly to execute their functions.
Particularly grateful to His Excellency the President of the Republic, President Adama Barrow, whose government sanctioned the autonomy of the National Assembly and created avenues for it to be resourced to execute its core mandate of legislation, representation, and oversight. This we appreciate and thank him profusely. We are humbled by the encouraging words from the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, our unalloyed partner. We want to thank you sincerely, and he demonstrated commitment of government to the principle of separation of powers and rule of law. And at this point, on behalf of both sides of the Assembly, to thank the Minister and his Permanent Secretary sincerely for the huge and progressive partnership and support. And I apologize for all the pressure, and probably maybe at a time I would be on his neck on phone while he's away and his Permanent Secretary, and they got things done while they are outside. And I saw one innovative on his ministry that even when they are outside, they perform their duties as if they are in the Gambia. I want to thank you, sir.
Musa Baji, the National Assembly member for Talinding constituency, said the new fleet of vehicles will help MPs with ease mobility in order to effectively do their official functions.
A step in the right direction because these vehicles are not for luxury. They are to facilitate the National Assembly's functions, both in the Assembly and in your constituency, to be able to reach and to reach out to your people and have an interface with your people and your constituency. And as we know, the country is very big. Some names come from very distant constituencies. Now, finding their way to the National Assembly and going back to their constituencies has always been a very terrible experience for those who have been here in the previous legislatures. That is why this has been designed to ease that challenge. You understand? So we are grateful that we are here having this opportunity to serve our people better with the coming of these new vehicles. Yes.
The purchase of the new 58 vehicles by the National Assembly follows a meticulous design revolving loan scheme in which each member is responsible for financing half of the cost of the vehicle during their 5-year tenure in office. Aissatou Koli, reporting for Gambian Talents TV News. Kanifing Municipal Council on Friday launched Kanifing Environmental Transformation Program with a call center that will allow residents to lodge complaints on waste collection and anti-littering matters. The launch of the project comes amid heaps of complaints from residents through the social media platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp messages. Al-Modu Job files in this report.
Kanifing Environmental Transformation Program (KEPT) call center is aimed to use sustainable focus on new integrated waste management approach to drive environmental, social, and economic development within the municipality. The toll-free line will allow residents of the municipality to lodge complaints and offer suggestions and advices to the council about illegal waste dumping and anti-littering in a bid to keep the environment clean. Speaking at the luncheon ceremony, Binta Jane Jallo, the deputy mayor of Kanifing Municipality, said the center will help the council address challenges in their daily activities.
It is with great pleasure that today we launch the centralized call center, digital fleet management platform, and first magazine of the project. These are significant achievements that will help council address challenges we are currently facing in the waste management. Ladies and gentlemen, my council has significantly resourced to ensure collections, transportation, and disposal of solid waste within the municipality. This has significantly impact on the environment and health of the residents of the municipality. To sustain these services be rendered to the residents. The project has installed fleet management platform, that's the central KMC's waste collection strategy, of which the council staff are expected to adopt the fleet management platform and use the information to design waste collection strategies.
Madam Jallo also said the digital fleet management platform will also improve efficiency and sustainability of existing collection services, while urged residents to make good use of the call center and the fleet management in tackling issues raised by them on their social media platforms.
The digital fleet management platform will improve efficiency and sustainability of existing collection services. The project has also installed the GPS device on the collection of vehicles to provide information necessary to improve efficiency and sustainability. Through increased fuel efficiency and training of collection crews, the use of the fleet management technology will have wider sustainable impacts.
Aliu Nyang, the director of KEPT, gave an overview of the project and how it will promote and enhance resources efficiency in the municipality.
The project aims to promote environmental transformation and enhance resource efficiency in the municipality. Basically, if we talk about the fleet management system, as the gentleman from the consulting firm has expressed, it has a lot of components. Now you could sit in your home or we at the office, and we will be able to monitor all the vehicles which are moving within the municipality. And it would help us for efficiency and resource use. It would help us to control even the fuel being used on a daily basis, and their routing, all would be monitored. And that's the essence of the platform.
Pap said Sise, the chief executive officer of Kanifing Municipal Council, said the call center and fleet management system will address the challenges faced by the council.
We are conversant with the fact that environment and sanitation continue to be one of the major challenges and therefore needs holistic approach to address it. The systems we are launching today will complement the efforts of Council to provide efficient services in environment and sanitation to the residents of this municipality.
Reporting for Gttv News, I am Morlamin Joe.
President Adama Barrow over the weekend received the outgoing country representative of International Monetary Fund, Mamadou Julde Barry, at the State House in Banjul, where the president reiterated his government's commitment with IMF for sustainable growth. The International Monetary Fund has, over the last 4 years, donated over $200 million to the Gambia in its economic development. Modi Job again.
Speaking to the media shortly after a closed-door meeting with President Adama Barrow, the IMF outgoing country rep Mamadou Julde Barry expressed gratitude to Barrow and reiterated IMF full commitment in supporting the Gambia to attain its socio-economic development aspirations.
Last 4 years as the resident representative of the IMF in the Gambia. So I came today with the Minister of Finance, Sidi Keita, my brother, to see the president to express our gratitude for all the work that we have been able to achieve for the Gambia in the last 4 years. As you know, when I came, the Gambia had no program. We worked on a program for 3 years. The program was concluded recently in June 2023. And during that program, we disbursed about $211 million. And that was only possible because of the leadership and the commitment to reform of the president. And also through that, to his economic team represented here by the Minister of Finance, Sidi Keita. So I wanted to come to express the IMF gratitude for his leadership in conducting those reforms and reiterate our commitment to support the Gambia in the requests that have placed to the IMF management that they want to continue the same engagement that we had in the last 4 years, the last 3 years during the course of the ECF program. So we are working on it, and we are certain that the minister and the governor of the central bank will take the necessary actions that are required to make that process of negotiating a new program for the next 3 years very smooth. So I wanted also to take that opportunity as the president represents the Gambian population to thank all the population of the Gambia for having adopted me in the last 4 years as a brother, as a friend, and as a good colleague So I wanted to use this opportunity to thank all the population of the Gambia, but also thanks the press that has also participated in many of the events that we were organizing. As you know, every 6 months we organize an outreach on the regional economic outlook. So I hope the same engagement that you had with me will continue with my successor will be coming soon.
For his part, Sidi Keita, the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, highlighted some of the development projects IMF has supported the Gambia in the past year and hoped for more development cooperation between the Gambia.
We have successfully completed an IMF program, which is a first in the recent memories. And as a result, a lot of donor support flowed through. And Gambia has been able to institute reforms that has seen the economic transformation of this country. Thanks to some of those reforms, we've seen revenue growth, revenue collection of the state, increasing up to the tune of 1.5 billion monthly. And we have seen the economic expansion witnessed by the infrastructure development, the Batin Hardin Highway, the Hakalan Road, the Kiang West. All of these are economic developments that have been ushered in through an efficient economic management. And we as a country could not have done it alone, but could only do it through partners like the IMF. And Mr. Barry was their able representative in country. So on that note, we say a big thank you to him. He is almost a Gambian now. And we know even though he is completing his tour of duty, he will always remember us. And as professionals, we'll always be having contact and networks together. And we look forward to the incoming resident rep, whom we also expect to have successful relationship with. As we speak, we've completed a program and now we are engaging the fund for a successor program to continue and deepen the reform and the economic transformation of the Gambia under the leadership of His Excellency Adama Barrow. All of these achievements could not have been made or realized without the unwavering support of the President. So on that note, I thank Mr. Barry and I thank the entire stakeholders he engaged with in the last 4 years, including all the affiliates of the Ministry of Finance, Central Bank, GRA, all the economic operators, for him to have concluded a successful.
Reporting for Gttv News, I am Morlamin Job.
Now to sports. The Gambia Beach Volleyball team has qualified for 2023 Volleyball Championship in Mexico. In 2022, the volleyball team competed in their first World Championship in Rome, Italy, but failed to proceed to the group stage. Saini Jawo and Jahara Koita, who are the country's volleyball team players, have generated much praises among Gambian sports lovers, especially volleyball enthusiasts, for their continued exceptional performance in raising the Gambian flag high to the world. Well, congratulations to our volleyball team for making a remarkable performance. We now look at the international front. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of China, Xi Jinping, on Monday arrived in South Africa for his first visit to Africa in 5 years, part of which he will spend attending the BRICS Summit of Major Emerging Economics. Mr. Singh, who is also paying a state visit, arrived in Johannesburg on Monday night and was welcomed by the President of South Africa. Sheriff Conte tells us more from the BBC News report.
Mr. Xi, who is also paying a state visit, arrived in Johannesburg on Monday night and was welcomed by President Cyril Ramaphosa. The pair are meeting on Tuesday morning ahead of the main summit in the afternoon and are expected to sign bilateral agreements on trade and energy. Also on Tuesday, Mr. Xi will co-chair the China-Africa Leadership Dialogue with Mr. Ramaphosa on the sidelines of the summit. There is a surge of interest in BRICS membership with more than 20 countries, including Algeria, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and Argentina, applying to join the group, which could emerge as a potential challenger to perceive Western dominance in the world affairs. This year's summit will look at whether to admit new members. A total of 69 countries have been invited to the broader BRICS summit in South Africa, including all African states. Critics of Russia's war in Ukraine have vowed to protest against the summit of BRICS nations in Johannesburg on Tuesday. Small groups of protesters, including some from right groups Amnesty International's local chapter, have been gathering and waving banners. Russia is represented at the BRICS meeting by the foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov. Had President Vladimir Putin attended instead, he would have been subjected to an international arrest warrant because he is wanted by the International Criminal Court, charged with war crimes in Ukraine. Serif Conte, Gttv.
Now, a video posted on Telegram channels linked to the Winger Machinery Group shows Prigozhin in combat gear, saying the Winger Group is making Africa more free. Winger is believed to have thousands of fighters on the continent where it has lucrative business interests. Prigozhin's soldiers are embedded in countries including Mali and Central African Republic, where rights groups and the UN accuses them of committing war crimes. Again, Serif Conte.
In the video, Prigozhin says Wagner is exploring for minerals as well as fighting Islamist militants and other criminals. We are working, the temperature is plus 50, everything as we like. Wagner PMC conducts renaissance and research actions makes Russia even greater on all continents and Africa even more free. Prigozhin can be heard saying justice and happiness for the African people. We are making life a nightmare for ISIS, Islamic State, and Al-Qaeda and other bandits. He says Wagner is recruiting and the group will continue fulfilling the tasks that were set. We made promises we would succeed. Prigozhin was photographed in St. Petersburg during the last month's Africa-Russia summit, shaking hands with Ambassador Freddy Mopoka, a presidential advisor, in the car. Prigozhin has been keeping a low public profile since heading his short-lived mutiny in June, which lasted only 24 hours. About 5,000 Wagner troops seized control of the southern Russian city of Rostov-on-Don and moved towards Moscow with the stated aim of removing the military leadership. However, Prigozhin stopped in advance after negotiating with the Kremlin, which were mediated by the Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko. Under a deal to end the mutiny, charges against Prigozhin were dropped and he was offered a move to Belarus. There had been very public infighting between Wagner and Russia's military of defense over the conduct of the war. Prigozhin reportedly accused the military of failing to supply his group with ammunition. Prigozhin says he founded the Wagner Group in 2014, a wealthy businessman with a criminal record. Prigozhin is known as Putin's chef because he provided catering for the Kremlin. In 2014, Wagner started backing pro-Russian separatist forces in eastern Ukraine and is thought to have helped Russia annex Crimea. Before the war in the Ukraine, Wagner had estimated 5,000 fighters, mostly veterans of Russia's elite regiments and special forces. However, Prigozhin said last June that its number had grown since the start of Ukraine war to 25,000 fighters. Serif Conte, Gttv.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we have for you in our tonight's bulletin. But before we take leave of you, here are the top stories. Now, the $2.5 million Toyota Prado vehicles have been handed over to National Assembly members of the Gambia. The Kanifing Municipal Council has launched Kanifing Environmental Transformation Program together with a call center to allow residents to lodge complaints on waste collection and anti-regulatory matters. The outgoing IMF country rep has bidden farewell to His Excellency President Adama Barrow at the State House in Banjul. In internationals, the Chinese President Xi Jinping arrives in South Africa for another visit to Africa after 5 years. The Wagner chief, Prigozhin, has appeared in his first video address since his failed mutiny in Russia, which suggests he is in Africa. Well, that's it from us tonight. Do have a pleasant evening. It's a bye from me and the entire team.